Welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast. My name is Nick Limsdahl. My guest this week is Brad Haley. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at Dave's Hot Chicken. Brad's journey with Dave's Hot Chicken began as a consultant in early 2022, and by 2023 of December, he took on the mantle of CMO, driving the brand's meteoric rise. However, his accomplishments go well beyond that. Previously, Brad held IHOP's marketing and culinary strategies for nearly 1,700 restaurants from 2017 to 2021. His leadership saw the brand's cultural integration, standout omnichannel campaigns, and culinary innovations. The campaigns he guided received prestigious honors like the Effies and Canes Lions, reflecting his ability to seamlessly blend creativity and strategy. Before IHOP, Brad served as a CMO for CKE restaurants, overseeing marketing, culinary strategies, analytics, consumer insights, and public relations for over 3,000 Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's restaurants. Today, Brad joins us and shares the insights, experiences, and exciting future of Dave's Hot Chicken. Brad, welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast.
Thanks, Nick. It's great to be here.
It is great indeed. And it is, I'm looking forward to it because for one, I loved reading about your story. For two, I really enjoy Dave's Hot Chicken. We were talking just a few minutes ago that my go-to is the chicken sandwich. Obviously, the combo is awesome, but if I can't get any higher than the medium, or else I'm sweating out of my shirt as I walk through that. So
that's my order too. So.
I was going to say that sounds like your go-to order. Is there, the one thing that really snuck up on me is the sauce that you guys have as well. I brought it to my family and the kiddos were all over it. It's like this. You were very generous on the food wise, and the quality is great. So we'll stop there. So the first question I have for you is, what was that journey like from being a consultant and then jumping into that CMO for Dave's Hot Chicken?
Yeah, well, I actually had worked with some of the senior management here before when I was at CKE, which is Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, and they were looking for someone to sort of help the brand transition from a rapidly growing startup to kind of an established, successful business. So I worked here for most of last year as a consultant, and then, as you said, in December, I was named CMO for the brand.
And where have you seen that marketing transition happen, and how are you aligning that marketing with the growth of that organization to keep that standard the way it is? Because sometimes it's tough as an organization as you're continuing to build and increasing that trajectory, is to have the quality not just on the food but the brand itself.
Yeah, well, that's probably the biggest challenge, frankly, because this brand started out as really a fresh idea in the industry. It's not just the food; it's also, if you go into, we've been in our restaurants and you see the design and decor is very, very unique. We started just over 6 years ago, and the founders began in a East Hollywood pop-up location in a parking lot. Actually, we just celebrated the 6th anniversary earlier this year and recreated the pop-up. The parking lot was still available, so we recreated that and had the founders there. But they created this vision for the brand. Armand Oganishin, who's actually our chief brand officer, we work very closely with him. He had the kind of the vision for the brand, and the graffiti you see on the walls is meant to reflect the graffiti that was all over the parking lot when they had the first pop-up. So maintaining that kind of that cool, fresh vibe for the brand, if you will, as we get bigger and grow rapidly, it is a challenge. But we're fortunate because we have these passionate followers around the country. So we have influencers and creators that review the brand. We don't pay them; they just review the brand because it's this cool thing they want to do. And most of our marketing still to this day is just sharing those posts and those reviews with a broader audience. So it's completely authentic, which helps keep us fresh for the next group of guests and the next market and the next opening that we have. So that's actually a big part of just keeping it real, I guess, is just sharing organic content out there.
Yeah, so you're talking about these influencers and the people that love the brand specifically. It's not that they're getting rewarded for it, but it's because they actually love it, and they're loyal to the brand themselves. And I'd say a lot of organizations in general, it's hard to build that brand. It's hard to build that the cult following, to continue that journey. But it's because maybe you're absolutely unique in the graffiti. You stand out among the masses from the ordinary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every Dave's is different, by the way. It's by design. So the graffiti is always different in every restaurant. We localize them to every location. So you could go to we have roughly 150 restaurants right now. So you could go to all 150 and they'd be at least somewhat different. So your experience, there's always something fun and interesting to look at in the restaurants. There's kind of Easter eggs in the design and decor too that people stumble across. So it makes the experience as fun as, of course, as it is to eat the food, which is amazing.
So you work at quite a few of these iconic organizations, in the marketing role across most of them. What strategies and what lessons have you brought through your time as you're journeying through this marketing career?
I guess I'd say, like, earlier in my career, I was involved in a couple of turnaround situations, some that just happened, and some that were that I went into the situation with my eyes open, because the nice thing about those is those situations, well, it's not great at the time, but I guess the upside of them is you can take big swings because you have to kind of reverse the situation. And I learned early on in my career that if you're smart about it and you have a good strategy, then taking the big swings actually can pay off in a big way for a brand, whether you're in a turnaround mode or like this one, which was successful almost from day one.
Yeah, I thought that was what you just said was impactful for me, because there's a lot of people that take big swings because they're desperate. I feel like you guys are taking big swings because you're uniquely different and it's working. And so whatever's working, you need to double down on. And I really appreciate that. And I respect that for you guys. Yeah. One question I have for you is, as a leader in marketing, from your perspective, what is the most important skill for a successful marketer to have?
Well, I guess a couple things. One of the things I've always liked about marketing is you have to be kind of a business generalist. You have to know a little bit about every aspect of business to be successful. But I guess I come back to the biggest thing is probably is bravery, because particularly in today's world, which is kind of a performance-driven culture for marketing, it's easy to just rely on the numbers and frankly, you almost don't need a marketing department for that because it's so automated these days. But there are things that you can't test in advance, like for example, the IHOP. When I was at IHOP, we did the International House of Burgers activation to basically tell the world that IHOP had great things after breakfast to come in for, and that was something you couldn't test. You couldn't test a name change because then the cat would be out of the bag from a kind of an earned media PR standpoint. So you just have to rely on a good strategy and sound thinking and take that swing. And that not everyone's comfortable doing that, but playing it safe, particularly in today's world, it's not a formula for long-term success, I think, for marketers or the brands they work for. It's
that educated risk that you're having to continue to lean into as a marketer. Is any industry or any department, you have a plethora of data. How often are you guys collaborating, as just in marketing in general? Are you collaborating across the entire organization to share data, but also to receive it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we're still a small brand, so so I can walk 20 feet out of my office and see everybody in the headquarters. So we collaborate almost unavoidably. We collaborate here. So we share information. We had a meeting with the ops team today, actually, and I said, we're all marketers in this room. So, and we talked about what we look for and how we drive the business, and and we'll take great ideas from anywhere in the organization or outside the organization from our franchisees.
Yeah, the one thing that I just saw, I went to your guys' website earlier this week, and I saw that you guys are running a Eat Dave's Hot Chicken win Drake tickets, and I think that's an interesting, memorable campaign. When it comes to these people who are up and coming, aspiring marketers, what advice would you have for them to create consistent, memorable campaigns?
Well, I think, well, for us, that one kind of was born internally. Actually, our CEO, Bill Phelps, had the initial idea, but Drake is one of our investors, and we like to kind of leverage that collaboration, that partnership, because he's obviously hugely successful entertainer, Billboard Magazine's Decade of the Year, Artist of the Decade, I should say. And he's got, I think, 140 million followers on Instagram. So that's a great opportunity for us to kind of marry the two fan bases, his and ours, because Dave's has quite a big fan base as well, as you can imagine, on Instagram and TikTok primarily. But we're not at 140 million at this point yet. So that idea came internally, and that's where a lot of great ideas do come from. But I'd say, in general, for marketers, the thing that's the thing that's always worked well for me is finding the most creative agency resource you can find and letting them do their thing, letting them show the work that they can do. There's no point in getting a creative agency if you're gonna be very prescriptive with what they do, because they won't be happy and you won't get the best work from them. And the other thing, I think, is once you find that partner is making them feel like they're truly a part of the team. And to me, they've always worked as an extension of the marketing department, whether it's a small one or a big one. And they love that. They're marketers too. They're smart, creative people. So it's always great to have their input. So you want to create an atmosphere where they feel comfortable offering ideas, and they may offer ideas about new products or earned media, PR, anything. And it's great to have that. But you got to start with, you have to create the environment that makes a really creative agency want to work with you, because they know that you'll let them do great work.
I like that. I like the fact that you're ingraining them into the everyday, so that they get to live and breathe that culture, so they can make recommendations. When it comes to finding a firm, how do you decipher, what questions are you asking to identify which ones are the most creative?
Well, a lot of it comes from just following the industry and seeing where the good work is and where it's coming from. And of course, awards, particularly something like an Effie, which is based on the effectiveness of the work, is another indicator. But usually, if you follow the industry and you just see where the really interesting creative stuff is coming from, those are the people that I like to talk to, and I think anyone should want to talk to if they're looking for an advertising partner.
Yeah, that's sound advice. So when it comes to a fast casual industry, as most industries, they're continuing to find ways to innovate. So from your perspective, what's the best way to stay attuned to that changing preferences of technology, or even the consumer experience?
Well, I guess it starts with what the company needs and what the guest wants. That's usually the starting point, I think, for us in everything we do. And then beyond that, it's just following the industry. So it's a combination, I'd say, of guest insights work to tell us what the guest wants and is interested in. And then it's a good measure of gut, which is obviously fueled by experience.
So what's the best way from your perspective is to monitor and provide feedback based off of the feedback that's been given from the consumer? Is it how many, is it personas? Is it how often they come back? Are they part of your loyalty program? What's a good measure of the retention of that customer based off of the organization?
Well, I guess I'd say all those things, but we do partner with Bicky, which is our customer data platform partner, and obviously that kind of service gives us an ability to see what guests are doing, how often they're coming back, where they're going, what they get. So that not down to the obviously individual level, or we know how individuals behave, but we can't identify them. That's obviously protected information. But we can still see how the behavior down to an individual person, not identified, but down to an individual person. And that's extremely valuable because we can see, for example, if we're testing some menu innovation, but we can know if it's bringing in a new customer, if existing customers are coming back more often. So that's probably the most valuable information we have because it's real data. It's not, we get consumer insights information, and that's extremely valuable too, but that's self-reported. So we'd always rather have actual results to look at before we make decisions.
Yeah, I'm always curious when it comes to this menu innovation of some organizations or some fast casual companies. They have great products, and not only do they keep great products, but they continue to find ways to innovate. What's that process look like at Dave's Hot Chicken?
Well, Dave's is a bit unique, I would say, in this way. We have you've been there, so you know it's a very simple menu, and we want to keep it that way because it's very important that we deliver the quality food and high quality food across the system. One of the things that Bill Phelps, our CEO, likes to talk about most publicly, and the numbers he says he's most proud of, and I believe it because he says it all the time, is that we've been able to maintain. Actually, we've been able to slightly build our guest perceptions of the brand as we've gone from a handful of locations to 150 now, and we are tied or better than the highest quality brands from a service standpoint that you can think of in the industry. And despite incredibly rapid growth, we've been able to maintain that, and that's extremely important to us. So that's a big part of what makes us, I think, successful.
Yeah, I would agree. What are you most excited about in, let's say, 1 to 3 years when it comes to Dave's Hot Chicken? Obviously, there's the growth, but what else are you most excited about outside of maybe not running into having these huddles with the immediate posse every single day?
Yeah. Oh, I guess I'd say I'd like to see Dave's continue to grow as we're growing, maintaining the quality that we have. And getting back to your earlier question, that's one of the reasons I think why we don't do a lot of menu innovation. We like to keep it simple so we can deliver high quality. But we'll do a few things. We have guests. We know that guests are interested in other things from Dave, so we'll do some modest menu innovation. I'm looking forward to that. We've got a new video campaign that we're working on that I'm excited to see come out here in the near future. So those are the things that I'm excited about in the short term and medium and long term. Just keeping it going and keeping the brand cool.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm looking forward to the success you guys are having. The one question I had for you as we close out here is, you've been in the marketing industry for a long time. As you look back, what are some of the most valuable lessons that you've learned along the way?
I guess, in addition to what we talked about earlier, I guess it's the ability to listen. I think sometimes people get to be a senior level at marketing and they feel like they know the answers and they tell people what to do and they prescribe what people should do. But you have to be able to listen, whether obviously to the guest, but your internal team, cross-functional team members, franchisees, and your agency partners. A lot of people, it's amazing how many people, again, work with an agency and they won't, and they'll tell them what to do as opposed to listen to what they have to say and what they think. So I'd say that's one of the biggest lessons is listen to people and don't assume you know the answers. Even if you have a lot of experience and a lot of success, you can always learn.
Yeah, it's so wise too, because the older I get, the more I realize that when I speak too fast, I tend to not know all the information, and I tend to not sound as educated as I would if I'd have just asked a clarifying question and just zip my mouth for a few more minutes.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
It's an ever evolving way to improve. But I appreciate that lesson because I need to remind myself of that today. So what is the best way for somebody that doesn't know of Dave's Hot Chicken, or they're looking to find a location. Maybe they're looking to partner with you guys in some way. Maybe they're just looking for free Drake tickets. What's the best way for people to get all of you guys?
Well, obviously our website, we have a mobile app and a loyalty program. So that's the best way I'd say is look us up online and follow us on our two primary social mediums, Instagram and TikTok. We've got 2.3 million followers, I think, across those, which isn't as big as giant brands, but on kind of a followers per location basis, we blow everybody away. No one comes close. So that's an incredibly valuable resource that we have. So I'd say follow us on social media or go to our website or app.
Yeah, and the last thing I would say, obviously, go to the app if you guys already know of Dave's Hot Chicken. However, if you don't know of Dave's Hot Chicken, go to the website and search for a place that is one closest to you. And yep. Who knows? Maybe somebody is one of my listeners will get the opportunity to meet Drake and hang out and have a Dave's Hot Chicken right there on stage. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Brad, it's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the success you guys continue to have.
Same here, Nick. Thanks so much.